Welcome to the Real Life Moms podcast. It is time to take a break from all our to-dos and carve out some time to focus on ourselves. I'm Lisa Foster, your host, and today I'm here with fellow mom Hanna Bier, and she is a money coach and the author of Wealth from Within. And today we are talking about abundance and the magic of money. So hi, Hanna. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Hey Lisa, I'm so excited to be here. I'm in Germany and you're in the United States, so I've had the entire day to get so excited about this conversation.
And okay, I do have to do a little shout out because Germany is actually our fifth highest audience in the Real Life Moms podcast. So yes, US is number one, but that is where I'm from. So I think there's a little pull there. And then Canada comes in second. We have Bulgaria third and Singapore fourth. So those are our top five countries. And so I'm so excited to have you here from Germany. That makes me so happy.
That's exciting.
So, well, first of all, you really help women kind of recreate that relationship with money so that they can really step into that financial overflow. So, I know a lot of our listeners are really excited about that because they want to be there too, but yet probably are, like myself, struggling with that. So, what is your approach to really helping people really reach this financial freedom?
Yeah, it's so interesting. Money is a lifelong relationship that none of us can escape, right? Like we're born onto planet Earth, and down here we use money as a way of exchanging goods and services and holding value. And so money is a really big deal, and yet hardly anybody feels happy with how their money is going or feels happy with how their relationship with money is going. There are a couple different statistics that I really like, and one of them says that 92% of Americans would say that money is their number one stressor. You know, it's not their marriage, it's not their health, it's not their parenting, it's money. And I find that so fascinating. And so I see that in my work too, where so many of my millionaire clients or clients who make a lot of money still feel stressed about money. And so that leads to the question, what the hell is going on? Why do we pretty much almost all of us have a really complicated emotional relationship with money? And then what does it take to shift that? And so my work is called Money Bliss because it really is about helping you becoming blissfully happy with money. And one of my happiest outcomes that I just love it when a client comes and says, I hardly ever even think about money anymore. But you can always make more money, right? Like you can always go from a millionaire to a gazillionaire and so forth. But really, the happy outcome is that your money is flowing so abundantly. It's set up so wonderfully. It really supports you and loves you and lets you sleep at night. You feel so good about your money that you hardly ever really think about it, you know? And all of us have these areas of our lives where we're so that we've really mastered, you know, maybe the place that you've mastered is parenting, and all of your friends are like, oh, how do you get your kids to put on their shoes without yelling? And you're like, so easy. And so my intention really is for money to be so second nature, so easy, so fun, so blissful for you, so you can focus on other areas of your life that I believe matter a lot more than money.
I love the way you put that. But of course, here's the question, because everyone's going to ask this question. How do we hit bliss? How do we get to bliss? Yeah.
Yeah, so I need to take you a little bit back into my past to kind of paint the story of, well, we're going to get to the how. But I had to discover this for myself because I come from poverty on both sides of my family. My dad is American, my mom is German. My dad's side grew up extremely poor. Many of the people on my dad's side of the family went into the army because there was nothing else to do. And then on my mom's side, both of my grandparents on my mom's side were child refugees during World War II, lost everything over and over again, were forced to live in a country that they didn't know, where everything was rubble. And so this is very deeply ingrained into the money consciousness of my family. And so growing up, I always had this feeling of like the rug could be pulled out from underneath my feet at any moment. Like there's no point in planning, there's no point in saving, there's no point in even having hopes for the future. Money is so inherently scary. It is the thing that I need to survive, and yet it could be taken at any moment. And so at that time, I hadn't heard about epigenetics. I didn't know that all these money fears and all this emotional history around money could be passed down to me. But as I grew older, I started to realize that maybe my financial story wasn't just my own. And so when I made this discovery that maybe my relationship with money wasn't just my own, and maybe it went even beyond me into the generations that came before me, I started to not feel so frustrated with myself that I was really struggling with money so much. And I really thought to myself, money is a really big emotional subject. And so the question you asked me was, how do we resolve our complicated relationship with money? And so before I was a money healer, I was actually an emotional healing coach. So emotional healing was what I specialized in. And so now with my clients, it's still a very similar approach where we go through your history with money, your family's history with money. I'm an energy healer, so I see energy. And so it's like taking a really deeply cleansing shower where we wash away all the fears and all the worries and all the assumptions and all the traumas, just everything that's sitting in your body around money. And we clear it all out and we wash it all away. And we've come to this place of giving you a fresh start, we can then rewire your relationship with money into one that feels really safe, that feels responsible, that feels fruitful, that feels like something that you can trust. And then we can develop your skills so that it's not so scary to live in this world anymore because you've got your own skills to draw on. So that no matter what happens around you, you can trust that you're capable of making wise decisions with money. You're capable of taking care of yourself financially and care for your family financially. And you're capable of finding a great financial path forward no matter what.
And I love that you said that because I feel like a lot of people work on some of these rewriting their stories, right? But they're still ending up with the same results. And what I'm hearing from you, it's like we rewrite these stories, but do we write a story that actually has trust in that we can financially take care of ourselves? I feel like that might be the missing link in some of these cases.
Actually, before becoming a money coach, I just really worked on my own relationship with money. And somehow I felt like I was different because it felt like in the online space, everybody wanted the big house and the big car and like the fancy business. But like what I wanted was to sleep. Like I wanted to not be up at night, just completely terrified of my future. I wanted to be free to travel. I wanted to be able to spend as much time with my daughter if I wanted to. Those were my goals. And so, based on those, I kind of created my relationship with money in a way that feels really peaceful, in a way that feels really safe, in a way that feels really good. And for a long time, I kind of felt a little embarrassed about that because I thought that I wasn't like strong enough or cool enough or but for me, I just really wanted money to be like my cozy blanket. I wanted it to be the stuffy that I can snuggle with at night. I love saving. I love growing my wealth. I love having money. I don't love needing to get money. I love having money. And sometimes I joke that if you follow me on Instagram, you may have heard me post about this before. My favorite antidepressant is money because I just love knowing that I've got so much money that I can take as much time off as I want to. I can take excellent care of myself and my family, and that there's all this like freedom in my life because of it. And so I discovered many different ways of doing money that I love and so enjoy just through my own exploration with it. And then when my clients started asking me for money coaching more and more, we started trying it on for them. Since I'm an energy healer, we just started putting things into their energy fields to see how their body responds. What if we, add 100K to your savings every year? What would that do to your nervous system? Does that feel grounding? Does that feel really good? What if we make sure that you always enroll 5 new clients every single week? How does that feel? What if we restructure your offers so you only need 2 clients a month? And so every single body, every single nervous system is different. And so as an energy healer, I just kind of love to put these little money goals into my clients' energy fields to kind of see which of these goals gives them like the ripple of relief, like just where a person who's sort of, oh my God, that would just be the greatest relief. That would just make my life so much easier. That would be a perfect fit for me. So my approach to money is also very individualized because it is a way that we love ourselves, and the way that we individually love to be loved is so unique to each person. But overall, money shouldn't be feeling like a to-do. Money shouldn't be feeling like you're constantly climbing a mountain and you're never getting there. Money shouldn't be the source that constantly makes you feel like you're not good enough or you're not working hard enough or that life is unsafe. Like money really should be the thing that keeps you grounded and safe and anchored throughout the different seasons of your life. And if your money doesn't feel like warm and fuzzy and like a cup of hot tea and like the snuggliest slipper, then there might be some growth there that would feel really good for you to experience.
Yeah. I love that you say, how does this goal feel for you? Because I agree. Like someone might picture having $20,000 in their account and just for some reason feel like ugly inside or whatever it is. Like it doesn't feel good, right? So that might not be the goal for you. You say like, how would it feel to have five more clients every week? And that might feel warm and fuzzy inside. And that maybe is the goal then for you. Does the client maybe start with some of these like goals that they can write? Like, how do they go about writing these goals to find that fuzzy feeling inside to know that that might be the first path they can work on?
Yeah, we actually discover those things like in our very first initial conversation. So when somebody's interested in working with me, they book a free strategy call. And on that call, clients already share, I really want to have this income, or I really want to have this net worth, or I really want to make this happen. And then when I look at them and their entire body goes, as they're saying it, if their body doesn't, just completely relax. And also if you've hit, so I call those soul money goals, like the soul money goals that are just so right. There's just this click. It's like everything flows. They're also really easily attainable. So if those clients had already discovered their soul money goals, they probably already would have accomplished them. So
Mm.
very often the problem is that my clients think, oh, if I earn 10K a month, that's going to, mean that I'll be a real entrepreneur. When actually 15K a month is much easier for them to create.
Mm.
Or some of my clients may think, oh, I was once given $500,000 as an inheritance. I blew through it really quickly. I want to get that money back, almost as a way of like making up for past mistakes. That might be a goal that's most definitely not a soul money goal. That just makes their entire body kind of freeze up in an uncomfortable way. And instead, what if we get your income to 250K a year and help you live off of 60% of your income and just let that money grow and compound over the decades to come? That might feel much better. There's so in my book, Wealth from Within, there's actually a chapter on how to discover your soul money numbers. And so grab my book if you want to learn your soul money numbers. In the book, we work on your soul income number and your soul savings number. Those are great numbers to start with. And it's really easy. You just write out a couple of different income numbers that you have. Write down the ones that are way lower than you think you should be doing and way higher, and then just some funky numbers in between. When I first did this on myself and I read myself and wanted to find out what income number felt like a really great next step, I got 6,200. Like what an odd number. It wasn't 6,100, not 6,300, not 6,000, not 7,000, it was 6,200. I actually stayed at that income level for like 2 years. It felt so good. That was my cruising altitude at that time. If you think about you being an airplane, airplanes don't just go higher and higher and higher. They go up, get to a cruising altitude, and that's what gets them to their happy end result. And so for me, my healthy, happy cruising altitude for a long time was 6,200. And that actually got me to a really lovely place. For me at the time, that was a lot of money. And so once you found your cruising altitude income and your soul money number savings goal, your entire body is going to relax and it's going to be like, oh, well, that actually fits me. That actually makes sense to me. That's actually fun. Now I can actually see how this can come together. This feels attainable. It feels like this is so much easier to create than what I've been working on previously. And so, yeah, the recipe is in the book on how to discover that. But a little test that you can definitely do is, does your body drop into a really deep state of relaxation upon discovering the number? That's how you know that you found it.
Oh, I'm going to get this book. I just want this book. So yeah,
I'm gonna
I
send it
love
to you.
that. Yeah, please, please. I will definitely read it. I am excited about it. I think I have an intuitive enough sense to kind of feel it in my body because of the work I do. I'm a craniosacral therapist. So I kind of work on that realm, but I know there's a lot of listeners that are not in tune with that at all. So are there simple ways that they could figure out what that number is if they don't have that sense of like, oh, do I relax or not?
Yeah, I love what you're saying. It really is just a point of view to say that you can't observe your own body. Like your
Mhm.
body is going to have that reaction. It's just a matter of, are you willing to look at your body and observe it for a moment? And then
Mhm.
the other thing that you can do is you can just book a free strategy call with me and bring your soul money numbers. And then we can kind of put them in your energy field and see what happens. And I can give you some guidance on the numbers that would be a fit for you. But I just want to question, I get this question too, Lisa. I love that you're bringing this up. I would just, for anybody who feels this way, I would just want you to humor me, get the book, do the exercise, and really be open to observing your body. If you go into a room and you're just feeling really uncomfortable, what does your body do? If you go into a room full of people who love you and who you love, what does your body do?
Mm.
Like, no matter how blocked you are, no matter how disconnected you are from your body, you can observe yourself and you can figure this out.
Yeah, that's such a good point because it's true. People who feel like they're a little disconnected in this area, it's like, yeah, you go into a room that even that has like high energy and is just positive around you, you just do that. You feel more positive, you're happier. You go into a room, and this is great with like teenage kids, right? That are just in a mood, right? You walk into their room and they're in a mood, and you're just like, oh, I feel like awful after, right? And that's kind of what you're talking about with this feeling of like a warm blanket versus that bleh feeling. So that bleh feeling we do, that is not our soul money target, right? But that happy warm feeling is probably on the right track.
Exactly. Yeah. If you can distinguish between a cold glass of water and a warm cup of tea, if you
Mhm.
can do that, then you can do this.
Yeah. So once people do find this soul number that is in their wheelhouse, I have a few questions like, what do we do with it? Is one. And how often do we recheck it? Because does it change, and how quickly does it change?
It does change, and yet it really is like a cruising altitude of an airplane in the sense that it doesn't change that frequently. You won't have a different soul money number every week or every month or even every year. I would encourage you to just, once you found your, let's say, soul income number and it feels so perfect and so hopeful and so excellent, then let's work on getting you there. So if you're a business owner, let's make sure that your offers are easy yes offers. They're so easy to say yes to. They're priced in a way that's like an easy yes from your client, but also that gets you to your happy income goal really easily. You don't have to enroll a gazillion clients every single month, but where a couple of sales every single month easily gets you to your goal. And so, we've just talked about the income goal needing to feel warm and fuzzy and really comforting, or like honey, like it should feel really delicious and sweet. And so in the same sense, we want to make sure that the path there feels the same. And so once we've got the goal, the path often kind of reveals itself. And sometimes we also need to be just, making sure that your business is set up in a way that makes it really easy for you to achieve this goal. And then for my clients who aren't in business yet, who are still in corporate, there are many different things that we can do to help you get to this happy income goal. In my personal experience, money also really started to fall out of the sky, I have to say. I did improve my marketing and my sales and my offers and all of that. And then some months it just really felt like it just fell into my lap. So something like that is okay as well. But for anybody who's a great manifester, how about we do both? How about we make sure that you're always enrolling clients, that you're always hitting your money goals in business, that you are a capable, amazing money maker, and then the serendipitous money can just be the icing on top.
So, what do you want the listeners to do to take that first step? I know we want to do this goal, but is there something else that they can also start implementing after listening to this podcast?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're a business owner, look at your offer. Can you get to your happy monthly income with like 2 sales, 3 sales, 4 sales, 5 sales, 7 sales, like no more than 7 sales? Can you kind of get there quite easily? I'm going to assume that, most of the people listening aren't like veteran business owners. If you're still in the first 10 years of your business and you're not making the amount of money you want, really look at your offer. Do you have one easy yes offer? Not like an offer suite of like 10 different things that are so difficult and complicated to share, and where you have to do all these acrobatics every single month to get a lovely income. But is it really easy for you to make that happen? So look at your offer. Is it an easy yes offer? It is something that can be delivered really easily, and you might already get some ideas on what you might want to do differently. Does your name state the outcome? With my clients, I always teach them business best practices. It's like recipes. And so one of our recipes in my Money Bliss program is name your offer the outcome that people get. And it's really obvious, right? When we go into a grocery store and we see tomatoes, we're like, oh, the outcome is tomatoes. If I buy tomatoes, the outcome will be that I have tomatoes. If I buy, a can of soup, the outcome will be that I'll have soup. And so it's really interesting how sometimes my clients make it really hard for their clients to enroll and to buy because the name of their offer is in the outcome. And so those are just a couple of different ways that you can make it easier for people to say yes to you, and then make it much easier on yourself to actually reach your soul income number and be happily cruising with your money.
With all your clients that you do see, is there kind of a common theme that people seem to get tripped up in when working with you and working with this type of approach?
Something that I hear a lot is that clients will come to me and they'll say, I've been blocked with money for a long time. I've got so many fears, got a really complicated relationship with it. I would really love to be making more money, but I understand that first I have to clear my blocks and only then can I make more money. And that's the thing that I hear so often. And it really is a fallacy. You do not have to clear your blocks and you do not have to unravel your entire relationship with money before you can make more money. And so my invitation is that we do it all at the same time. So if you really master marketing and sales, and if you are being taught how you could do that today, you could be getting more clients and making more money starting today. And so if you see any of my success stories and it's like, she made okay in the first 2 weeks, or she doubled her income within the first month, or that's really just because they didn't wait to clear their blocks to make money. They just did their marketing and sales right from the start, got more clients. And then, of course, they were still feeling insecure. They were still feeling not good enough. They were still doubting that it could be this easy. They were still feeling like they needed to work harder. They were still worried about the future and stressed about their savings and all of that. But what if we help you make more money from the beginning and then clear your blocks along the way? Because your relationship with money, like I said in the beginning, it's a lifelong one. And so there's probably always going to be something that feels a little sticky that we can resolve together. But yeah, the biggest fallacy that I see is that people wait, that they really decide, well, I won't be making more money. I have to be perfect and clear all of my blocks, and only then will money show up. That's not true. You can be completely blocked and make more money today. And then we're still going to love you enough to resolve the blocks. But we resolve the blocks because it doesn't feel good to live your life in a dark cloud. It doesn't feel good to live your life with this heavy burden on your shoulders. So let's definitely release the burden and make you a ton of money all at the same time.
I really love that because I feel that that is so true, that people are like, okay, you got to work on the inside first, and we have to like feel better about money so that you keep your money or whatever it is. But I think the way you're talking feels like a big relief, because you're right. There's always something that comes up. Like, you can work on yourself, you can make more money, and then, oh, there's another thing that comes up. So I love that you're saying, let's do it together. Let's not work on the things, because that's important, but let's do it together. Because also I think people then also see results financially, as well as that kind of inner self feeling better. They're seeing it at the same time. And that I also think makes people want to do it more.
Right. And going back to my earlier point, for me, actually having money in the bank did more for me than any therapy. At certain points in my life, I can already hear the therapist being like, love your profession. You're so valuable and you're so appreciated. And what I sometimes just needed was just actual money in my savings. I just needed to know that next month's rent was going to be paid. I just needed to know that if I had another depressive episode, I could just rest for a day or two. That's what I needed. I just needed to know that I could, go to my best friend's wedding, and like buy a dress and not feel terrible about myself the entire time. And so for the money that's in your bank account is an emotional support for you. And so if you have that emotional support, it's going to be much easier for you to let yourself heal emotionally. And so I was really amazed at when I started making more money and having more money, and seeing that I could fulfill my financial dreams, that I could make amazing things happen in my finances. So much of my anxiety and my depression and my doubts and my worries, they just melted away, like actually quite quickly. And then I thought to myself, maybe those weren't personal flaws. Maybe those were just really reasonable issues that I had. It was really reasonable for me to be totally stressed out because my bank accounts were empty. And that wasn't a fun place to be. Maybe I wasn't being unreasonable. Maybe that made perfect sense. And so it's the same with many of my clients where once they start making money and they start realizing that, yes, marketing gets you sales. Yes, sales gets you clients. Yes, clients mean that there's money in the bank. A lot of their emotional issues that I had previously, we don't actually have to work on so much anymore because
Hmm.
the exact experience of feeling capable with money already resolves so much.
And I just love the feeling when you're saying like money acts as like an emotional support because there's always such negative ties a lot of times to money, like the worry of money, having money. Like people will like get money and then they get rid of it because they don't feel good about it. So they're like giving it away or they like end up with their bank accounts empty because they just don't like there's a negativity about holding on to it even. So I love the word of like just as an emotional support, it's like you can look at it and you can feel really good that you have this money and hopefully tied to something you're doing that also feels good because then you're earning this money for something that you hopefully also love. So that is such different perspective of looking at money.
Yeah, you just brought in the word love.
Mm-hmm.
And that just lands so beautifully for me because money really is an expression of love. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when we were little, our parents were supposed to love us and play with us and give us food and make sure that we've got nice clothes to wear for school. And so we received our love and the care that we needed through our primary caregivers, in most cases, our parents. And then as we grow up, we're supposed to do that for ourselves using money. Money is a way that we love ourselves, you know, like creating a beautiful home is a way that we love ourselves using money. Having an abundance of money in the bank account is an abundance of possibility. That's a way of being really generous and loving. And so, for anybody listening who feels like it's silly or it's shallow or you don't need that much, like imagine two babies being born. Like, does one of them need more love than the other? Like, aren't both so absolutely deserving of the maximum amount of love? So why wouldn't we allow you to have an absolute overflow of love, an overflow of care, an overflow of possibility, an overflow of freedom, both emotional and financial? Why wouldn't we want to give that to you? Why would that be frivolous? And why would you say, oh, that baby doesn't need that much love? They're fine with like a kiss once a week. Are you kidding me? Why wouldn't we just completely and totally shower you with love in that way? And so when that switch kind of flipped for me, I kind of thought to myself, well, yeah, living in this consciousness of unlimited abundance, of seeing all the abundance all around me and really allowing myself to be a great money maker, it is a way for me to live in the vibration of true love. Like to me, true love hasn't fully expressed itself in all ways in my life until my finances don't feel completely and totally overflowing and generous.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just want to offer that reframe for anybody who's still on the fence. You deserve to be overflowing with love. And money is that expression of love in your life.
Yeah. And we don't always put those together. So I love that you did that. Now tell me a little bit more about your book because it sounds like it has all these nuggets that we all need to learn so that we can have this flowing abundance in our lives.
Yeah. So if you are feeling like your current approach to money isn't necessarily working for you, it's not getting you to the financial place that you want to. And if you feel like most of us were stressed about money, thinking about money, worried about money, where it's just this thing, like to me, it always felt like money was the thing that just made me feel like I was being punched in the gut. Money
Mm.
was always the thing that even if everything else in my life went well, it was almost like money was in my life to just make me feel bad. So if money doesn't feel good for you, my invitation is to pick up the book. It's a very short read. I wrote this when my daughter was sleeping in 45-minute increments. Maybe some parents can relate to just how insane that is. But yeah, I would type and then tend to her and then type and then tend to her. So when I look at this book, it's a very condensed, it's kind of like a summary of a little bit of the money bliss approach so that you can try it on for yourself and see if this approach resonates with you, see if this way of life resonates with you. Like I said previously, it's not so much about, more money, more things to buy, more showing off or anything like this. It's really about finding you a flow with money that feels so nourishing, so safe, so fruitful, so freeing, so joyful, even blissful, I would say. And so read the book and see if this approach is something that resonates with you. And then if you want to go deeper, we can talk about working together. But my book is a really great first place to start to even just explore your own relationship with money and see how it's going.
Well, first of all, I love that it's short because as parents, like we cannot be reading for hours and hours. We've got lots of things going on. So like short, sweet, and to the point is amazing. So that is definitely awesome. And I love that you are taking a very different approach to money because a lot of people do manifestation and things like that. But you're really talking about what feels good. And it is so individualized. My my number is very different than maybe somebody else's number. And I think that is really important because we are so in the society comparing. Like for me to have financial freedom looks like, whatever that millionaire looks like, right? And that might not be true. Financial freedom to me could be exactly what you're saying, paying all the bills, being able to go on a trip, not having to worry about where the next mortgage payment comes from. That is financial freedom. And that number will be totally different than the number somebody else's chooses. So I think that's so important.
Yeah. It's so interesting when you say it like that. It makes so much sense, right? Like in nature, I would never feel like, oh, the tulip should be as big as the sunflower or as big as an oak tree. The oak tree is going to look like an oak tree and be the size that an oak tree needs to be. And the tulip will be the size of a tulip and the sunflower will be a sunflower. And so you get to have the finances that fit you. This is why your inner compass is so amazing. When you feel this click, when you feel this relief, when you feel the warm and fuzzies, that's how you know that you'll hit upon your soul path with money. This is how you've discovered your own way of doing money that will be so nourishing and perfect and wonderful for you. And the big relief then is that, the experts can talk and it kind of won't affect you as much anymore because you know what your path is. And you will always have this feeling of rightness as you walk it. And just the relief of that for me has been priceless.
Yeah, I can see that. Exactly. Like just the relief alone is worth all the money, right?
And you get money for healing.
And you
Like you
get
get
money.
paid for healing yourself. How cool is that?
That is so cool. Okay, so tell us where the listeners can find you.
So hannabier.com is my website. That's HANNABIER.com. You're also welcome to follow me on Instagram at Hanna Money Bliss. On my website, you can find my book, Wealth from Within. You can also book yourself in for a free strategy call. And then there's also some freebies that you're welcome to start with right away.
Yes, and I did start with one of them actually already. It's the subliminal like meditation that you have on there. Yeah,
How did you like it?
I loved it. I mean, it's like this lovely water, and I'm like, oh, what is she? But of course, my mind goes to what is subliminally coming through, right? But only you know that. But I felt good the next morning, and I had actually looking back, I forgot. I had like the best day. I did it the day before, and yesterday I had an amazing day. So, okay, I'm going to be doing that on a nightly basis, I think.
Do it. Yeah, it's so interesting. I always get these little messages of like, my investment portfolio doubled overnight. My parents started sending me all this money, or like I got 3 new clients in a day. And then they never really make that connection with the subliminal, but that's part of the fun.
Well, thank you so much for coming on today. It was a new perspective about money. We hear a lot about the manifestation of it. We hear a lot about the business and marketing, but I love the combo that you're just taking a little bit of a different approach to it. So thank you so much.
Thanks so much for having me.
What an amazing episode. I learned so much, and I love the perspective of just doing it now, starting to make money while still working on your blocks. And she offers just some new perspectives that I had never heard before. Definitely check out Hannah's book and her website for all her resources. The links are in the show notes. And until next week, keep carving out time for yourself. And don't forget to drop in next Tuesday where we will be talking to another incredible mom with another amazing topic.